Divine Revelations, 7 miraculous past life connections that transform love and heal pain in a quaint English village nestled among rolling hills, where faith and tradition intertwine like vines on an old stone wall. A mother's prayer held the power to bend fate itself. Elizabeth, a devoted mother, had weathered storms of despair, yet her heart remained a beacon of unwavering belief. But her faith was tested like never before as her precious son, Samuel, battled an illness so dark and mysterious, the doctors deemed it untreatable. Each day was a struggle, her heart burdened with fear. She often walked to church, praying fervently under the whispering boughs of ancient oaks, imploring for a miracle. As the village prepared for its annual pilgrimage to the sacred shrine of St. Michael, Elizabeth felt a flicker of hope illuminate her heavy heart. St. Michael, known for his miraculous interventions, had healed many before her. With her fellow villagers' chants echoing in her mind, she packed her bag, anticipation and anxiety filling her spirit with urgency and longing. On the pilgrimage, a mystical elderly priest crossed her path, a figure draped in robes like shadows of the past. His eyes sparkled with ancient wisdom, and as he spoke, Elizabeth shivered. "Healing may come," he intoned, "from understanding your ancestors' unfinished stories, weaving a tapestry of connection across time." His words hung in the crisp air, a mystical promise. Could her ancestors' pain be tied to her own? Was the power of prayer strong enough to bridge those gaps? As day turned to night, Elizabeth found a quiet corner beneath the starlit sky, praying alone. The glowing stars above felt like the prayers of countless souls, connecting her to the divine. Suddenly, visions flooded her mind, images of her ancestors facing anguish, their faces worn with hardship but lit by an unbreakable spirit. Their struggles, their sacrifices, echoed through generations, igniting her heart with warmth and strength. Elizabeth gasped, she felt their love wrapping around her like a sacred embrace. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Gathering her fellow villagers, Elizabeth shared her revelation, and they united in fervent prayer for Samuel's healing. The air was thick with devotion, prayers rising like incense, wrapping around their hearts. However, just as hope began to bloom, darkness crept in, a heavy shroud that suffocated their light of faith. But then, in that nail-biting moment when doubt threatened to crush them, a miracle unfolded. Samuel, once frail and feeble, stood before them vibrant, whole, as though touched by an angel. Elizabeth's heart soared with joy, yet shadows of uncertainty danced at the edges of her mind. What did this miracle truly mean? Was their healing a mere beginning, an awakening of something greater? As the village erupted in celebration, Elizabeth stood still, heart racing, the elderly priest's words echoing ominously in her ears. Each revelation drew them deeper into a spiritual mystery that intertwined their destinies through centuries, whispering of understanding yet to be revealed. What awaited them on this divine journey? The air crackled with anticipation, leaving Elizabeth yearning for answers that loomed just beyond her reach, a new chapter in their lives only just beginning. As dawn broke over the village, a soft golden light spilled through the windows, illuminating the faces of joyous villagers gathered around Elizabeth and Samuel. Laughter and songs of gratitude filled the air, healing their hearts after the stormy nights of despair. Yet, amid the celebration, Elizabeth felt a stirring deep within, a call to delve further into the mysteries of this unexpected miracle. Where does it lead us now? She pondered, feeling the weight of generations resting on her shoulders. Her heart beat with question and curiosity. Was the miraculous healing of Samuel merely the beginning of a greater revelation? As villagers shared tales of their ancestors, Elizabeth felt the tapestry of their lives interweaving right before her eyes. The miracles of the past were not just distant memories, they were alive, breathing through her and her beloved child. That evening, with the sun setting in a blaze of crimson and violet, Elizabeth returned to the sacred shrine of St. Michael. The air was fragrant with the scent of burning candles, and the flickering flames danced like whispers of faith. Alone in the stillness, she sank to her knees before the altar, every worry and wish lifted as incense to the heavens. "Let me understand the greater purpose," she prayed. "Grant us the wisdom to embrace this new path, whatever it may hold." As if in response, a gentle breeze swirled around her, brushing against her cheeks like a soothing balm. Elizabeth felt a sense of comfort enveloping her, like a divine hug in that sacred space. Clarity began to unfold. The priestess' words echoed in her ears once more, understanding their ancestors' unfinished stories would illuminate their own souls. Could it be that Samuel's healing signified a deeper intertwining of their family as fate? She envisioned the faces from her visions, their struggles reflected in blank pages of the past, waiting to be filled with love and redemption. Days turned into weeks, and the village thrived with renewed hope. Yet, Elizabeth felt the urgency urging her to dig deeper. It was then she decided to gather a few faithful souls, friends who shared her passion for understanding and healing. They met under the ancient oaks, sitting in a circle, illuminated not only by the moon above but also by a shared desire to unveil their lineage's hidden truths. "Let us explore the stories of our families," Elizabeth urged. "For in our roots, we may find the gifts they left behind, struggles met with grace, faith that persevered." Excitement rippled through the group, eyes brightened with fervor for this sacred rediscovery. As they spoke, uncovered tales began to flow, each revealing shades of pain and triumph. There were whispers of love lost in wars, hard-fought battles against poverty, and courageous journeys across the sea, each story drawing them closer to the heart of their collective history. Then one evening, as they shared a particularly haunting tale, Samuel excitedly burst into their midst, breathless with a secret. "Mother, I just had a dream. I saw a woman, she looked just like you. And she was standing beside a place that felt familiar. You must see." The group fell silent, the air charged with mystery. Elizabeth's heart raced. Was this a sign, a message, or a divine invitation? What awaited them on this new path? As Samuel's words hung heavily in the air, the sacred journey took on yet another twist, charging their hearts with both fear and exhilarating anticipation. What truth lurked beneath the surface, waiting to be unveiled? With faith lighting their way, they were driven to follow this divine trail wherever it might lead. Little did they know, greater miracles awaited just beyond the horizon. As Samuel's revelations settled into their hearts, Elizabeth felt a rush of emotions: curiosity, apprehension, excitement. This dream held weight, a connection to something larger than themselves. She sensed it wasn't mere coincidence, it was a divine whisper beckoning them forward. "Where did you see her?" Elizabeth asked, her voice steadying. Samuel's bright eyes looked up into hers, sparkling with the innocence of a child yet filled with profound insight. "I don't know exactly," he said slowly, "but it felt familiar, like I'd been there before. It was a place filled with flowers and sunlight. There was a path and the sound of a stream." The circle's atmosphere shifted, charged with possibility. Elizabeth turned to her friends, their faces alight with intrigue. Could this dream be their guide, led by unseen hands? "Let us seek this place," Elizabeth proposed, her spirit ignited. "If there is indeed a woman who holds a part of our story, we must engage in this journey. We can find her. We can uncover the secrets she holds." The gathering murmured with agreement, palpable excitement rippling through them. Cradled in faith, they shared their intentions to venture into the woods that bordered their village, to follow where Samuel's dream led them. As twilight surrendered to night, they prepared for their journey. They clasped hands in prayer under the starlit sky, asking for protection and guidance, for clarity and strength as they felt the magnitude of their undertaking. "May we unveil the light hidden within our past," Elizabeth whispered, and her friends echoed her sentiment. The words swirled into the cool night air, a collective tapestry of affirmation to the heavens above. With lanterns in hand, illuminating the crooked path before them, they slipped into the embrace of the woods. The rustle of leaves accompanied their footsteps, forming a symphony of nature's awe. The journey felt sacred, each step a step toward uncovering lost treasures of their lineage. Samuel led them, recounting every detail of the dream with fervor. "I could hear the stream. Could it be over this ridge?" His little voice held a certainty that drew them closer to completion. After winding through the forest, the group stumbled upon a clearing, awash in soft moonlight. Their hearts fluttered as they beheld a small stream babbling over smooth stones, wildflowers vibrant beside it. It felt enchanted, a piece of paradise hidden away just for them. "This is it!" Samuel shouted, eyes wide with wonder. As they approached the water, Elizabeth felt something stir within her. Her heart quickened, rhythms of the past echoing back like distant stories begging to be heard. Listen, she breathed, her voice barely a whisper as she knelt beside the stream, the gentle sound of water moving, the night as silence embraced them like a forgotten hymn. One by one, they dipped their fingers into the cool current, enchanting thoughts of their ancestors swirling in their minds. What if we could hear their struggles? One friend ventured. What if they can guide us through pain and loss? I feel it too, Elizabeth replied, her spirit quickened. They are here. The unseen tapestry connects us still. In that moment, a ripple broke the surface of the water, creating waves that sparkled like tiny stars. Just then, a figure emerged, soft and ethereal, the silvery outline of a woman. Elizabeth gasped, her breath caught in her throat as the familiar yet alien visage floated closer. Who are you? Elizabeth called out, wonder and trepidation entwined in her chest. But the figure remained silent, her eyes locked onto Elizabeth's, holding countless stories within the depths of her gaze. What message did she carry? What ancient truth awaited to be spoken? As the cold air filled their lungs and hope tinged the atmosphere, the group stood transfixed, drawn toward the unfolding miracle. How would this mystical connection change their understanding of love, healing, and eternity? With hearts beating in sync, they felt the sacred power of the moment. Each member's soul stirred, awakening unspoken desires for transformation. They stood on the brink of revelation, ready to embrace whatever the divine response might bring. What lessons awaited them in the embrace of this ethereal figure? What destinies entwined their lives with hers? The air quivered, thick with anticipation, as they awaited the woman's voice, a voice that might reveal the very essence of their shared existence. The air around them shimmered as if it held its breath, waiting. The figure hovered just above the water's surface, her presence a vibrant beacon of mystery. Elizabeth felt a warm sensation wash over her, a glimpse of the profound grace that seemed to radiate from the woman. It was calming yet invigorating, both a comfort and a challenge. I can feel her presence, one of Elizabeth's friends whispered, eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. Who is she, really? Samuel, still entranced by the vision before him, took a tentative step forward. Maybe she knows our story, he murmured, his voice barely a thread in the night. His innocence held a poignant weight, punctuating the moment with a gentle urgency. Suddenly, the woman raised her hand, motioning toward the stream. The water glimmered as if answering a call only she could hear. The group watched, utterly spellbound, as the surface of the water swirled gently, forming images that danced across the luminescent surface. A series of visions unfolded, familiar faces of their ancestors drifting like whispers in the moonlight. Elizabeth recognized them. Her grandmother, a mighty matriarch, her kindness echoing through generations. A long-lost uncle, eyes brimming with sorrow and wisdom. Each figure told fragments of their stories, woven through joy, pain, struggle, and triumph. Tears filled Elizabeth's eyes as she witnessed her family's lineage unfolding. They're reaching for us, she exclaimed. Their wisdom is here, wanting to connect with us. Each moment resonated within her, like the heartbeat of a powerful prayer, but the ethereal woman lingered closer, her gaze unwavering. The atmosphere shifted again, as she seemed to pull the deeper threads binding their souls. In that moment, Elizabeth understood, this woman was not merely a messenger but a bridge, a spiritual link connecting two worlds. Your pain and love are woven together, just as your journeys intertwine, the figure finally spoke, her voice a soft echo that rippled like the water beside them. Each word held a sacred weight, a warning, and a comfort. To heal, you must first remember what binds you. Elizabeth's heart raced. What binds us? She asked, yearning for understanding. What must we remember? As if answering her, the woman stretched out her hand toward the water once more. Every joy, every grief, every triumph, and every tear. Her gaze enveloped the group like a holy embrace. You are not separate, you are part of a greater truth. In that instant, time fell away. The forest faded, and all that existed was this celestial vision, their spirits entwined in a dance of light and shadow. Elizabeth felt a vibrant thread weaving through her thoughts, a tapestry of connection that spanned generations. Love transcended time, reaching back into their past, infusing their present with strength and hope. Can we share this truth? Another friend asked, eyes brimming with faith. Can we bring it back to the village? Yes, the woman affirmed, her smile radiating warmth. But first, realize that to share love, you must also acknowledge your pains. Do not shy away from the struggles that forged you. Embrace them, for they contain your power. With each word, Elizabeth felt layers of herself peeling away, revealing a core connected to something infinitely larger. Her heart and spirit swelled as she realized this was both a gift and a challenge. She would have to confront the wounds of her lineage to understand the love that awaited her. With the air shimmering around them, the woman slowly began to withdraw. Remember, she whispered, to heal is to remember, and to remember is to love. You are all part of this divine circle. As she faded back into the shimmer of the stream, the group was left in reverence, feeling the echo of her message pulse within them. They knew their journey was only beginning, that each revelation would lead them to greater truths. What now? Samuel breathed, looking at Elizabeth with wide, hopeful eyes. The stream continued to flow, an eternal witness to their newfound understanding. Now, we explore these connections. Elizabeth replied, her heart igniting with purpose. We embrace our past to heal our future. With that, they stood united, hearts interwoven with sacred intent. What hidden truths would they uncover about themselves and their lineage? The night held its breath as they prepared to dive into the unknown, eager for the divine wisdom still to come. With the shimmering echoes of the woman's words lingering in the air, the group shared a silent understanding. Their hearts now beat in sync, resonating with the call to heal and remember. Elizabeth felt a challenge rising within her, a gentle push urging her to guide her friends deeper into this quest of discovery. Let us sit by the water, she suggested, her voice steady and warm. They formed a circle, each finding a spot under the vast canopy of stars above. The stream gurgled softly nearby, its sound a soothing balm for anxious spirits. As they settled in, Elizabeth sensed a sacred energy strengthening among them, a divine community knit together by shared purpose. Let us start with our stories, Elizabeth proposed, looking at each friend in turn. We need to voice our pains and joys. Samuel's eager response broke the stillness. I'll go first. His youthful exuberance brought smiles, but his tone changed as he settled back. I've always felt different. Growing up, I often dreamed of a grand castle, a place where I was a prince, but lost it all. I never understood why it sparked so much longing in my heart. As he spoke, Elizabeth could see the flickering of spirit within him. His vulnerability opened a channel for the others to follow. One by one, each friend began to share. Each story was a thread. Together, they wove a tapestry rich with lost loves, broken families, and hard-fought victories. When it was Elizabeth's turn, she breathed deeply, recalling the weight of her own history. My grandmother was a healer, she began, her voice a whisper of reverence. She carried the light in her, always giving to others, but she had her own pain. There was a darkness that haunted her, and I often wonder how much of that burden I carry. Silence fell over them, heavy yet alive with understanding. In each tale, they caught glimpses of the generations that came before, echoes dancing within their hearts. Healing was beginning. It was not simply about revealing their individual stories but facing the interwoven legacy that had shaped them. Suddenly, the water began to shimmer again, capturing their attention. The images swirled, revealing snapshots of their ancestors alongside the truths they had just shared. The emotions tied to the stories began to ripple in the current, transforming into a song of legacy. We must honor their struggles too, Elizabeth said softly, feeling the room shift with collective awareness. Our strength comes from embracing it all, the knots of pain and heartache they make us who we are. In that moment, a breakthrough sparked within the group, an agreement resonating through their hearts. They were ready to seek deeper truths. The bold realization settled among them, their lineage wasn't just history, it was a path to healing and love. What if we could connect them to the present moments of our lives? One friend asked, eyes bright with excitement. What if we could bring their strength into our daily struggles? A knowing smile broke across Elizabeth's face. That's it. Their wisdom is a light we can carry. We can honor them by living our lives fully, using what we've found to guide others. A collective breath released as the weight of the past transformed into wings for the future. They had opened the door to a sanctified journey filled with love, pain, and growth. What's next then? Samuel's voice broke through the joyful reverie. Elizabeth felt joy cascade through her being. She settled her gaze back on the stream, its glow a reminder of the bridge they had crossed. Now, she said, a spark igniting in her heart, we embark on a journey to share this truth, but we must also confront what still binds us. As they awoke from their reverie, the group knew they would need to address lingering echoes of pain, those shadows still tucked away. They had a mission that began here, under the stars, where the past mingled with the present. What revelations awaited them in the shadows of their stories? How would they find the light needed to guide others? The night whispered with promise, drawing them closer to their next step on this sacred path. The stars twinkled brightly, filling the night with their serene light. As silence surrounded them, a gentle breeze rose, carrying with it whispers of trepidation and hope. The stream danced along its banks, echoing the feelings stirring in their hearts. Let us not shy away, Elizabeth encouraged, her voice soft yet commanding. We must face these shadows together. What is hidden cannot heal. We owe it to ourselves, and to those we love. Each friend nodded, the gravity of her words sinking into their souls. Elizabeth looked around the circle, meeting each friend's gaze, as if to draw strength not just from them, but from those who came before. There was a shared understanding that the shadows could either bind them or illuminate the way forward. I can start, said Naomi, her voice trembling. There is so much I carry. Her breath faltered, and tears glimmered in her eyes. My parents split when I was young. I often felt like I had to choose sides. When I think back, their pain was so profound, and I fear I haven't forgiven them fully. Her vulnerability hung heavy in the air, and the others leaned in closer, drawn by the ache in her heart. I felt the same way, added Oliver, his brow furrowed. My family has a history of anger and bitterness. I've seen how it hurts those I care for. But instead of breaking the cycle, I've often been a part of it. He took a long pause, searching for words as if hoping to unearth buried truths. I want to change. I don't want to pass this on to my children. Each story brought forth waves of empathy, washing over them like the gentle ripples of the stream. They weren't just sharing, each confession was a lantern, guiding them from darkness to light. Elizabeth felt a stirring within, a realization blossomed as their stories intertwined. What if our ancestors had faced similar pains? She suggested. What if they too carried scars that influenced their path? This isn't just about us. We're here to break open the chains passed down through our families. Her words ignited a spark in Samuel. That is true. My dreams of the castle, they weren't just about longing for something grand. They might symbolize my family's unrealized potential. Perhaps instead of feeling lost, I need to find what belongs to them. As he spoke, the water shimmered once more, catching their attention. The reflections portrayed scenes of captured ancestors, moments of conflict, strife, and stark choices made in silence. The gentle glow seemed to promise healing and forgiveness, an invitation to rewrite their legacies. I see them, Elizabeth whispered, her heart stirred. Feel their pain. They too carried burdens, and didn't always know how to release them. Just as they sought peace, we are called to carry love forward. Despite the weight of their revelations, hope soared within the circle. They felt an undeniable shift, a current of grace sweeping through them. This journey wasn't merely personal, it was collective, sacred. The presence of their ancestors enveloped them as they embraced their roles as healers. You are not alone, Elizabeth said gently, her eyes welling with tears. We are bound together, sharing this journey, holding each other accountable to find freedom. In that sacred space, the group acknowledged the tapestries of their lives, interwoven with joy and grief. They had laid bare their hearts, inviting healing not only for themselves but for those they loved and those who came before them. As the night deepened, an unspoken question lingered in the air, a challenge that beckoned them forward. What steps would they take next? How would they transform their revelations into action? What legacies would they create for future generations to honor? The water continued to flow, a reminder that healing is an ongoing journey, one they must embark on with faith and courage. And beneath the canopy of twinkling stars, a voice echoed softly, urging them to breathe deep and listen close, because the sacred stories of their lives were just beginning to unravel. The night wrapped around them like a warm embrace, filled with the scent of damp earth and fragrant blossoms. They sat in a circle, suspended between the past and the future, each heart a vessel ready to be filled with new revelations. Elizabeth's words lingered like a sweet melody in the stillness. What if our past is the key to our future? Her voice was gentle, yet it carried a weight. Tonight, we peel back the layers, not just for ourselves but for those who loved us before we even drew breath. The group fell silent, contemplating the possibilities that shimmered on the horizon of their healing journey. Samuel moved closer to the water's edge, his fingers trailing through the cool surface as if beckoning the universe to show him more. "We must honor our family legacies," he murmured, each word steeped in thought. "What if we sought to learn from those echoes? What if we spoke to the pain instead of shying away from it?" Naomi nodded, a sudden glimmer of courage lighting her eyes. "I want to speak to my parents. Not in anger but with love. I want to tell them it's okay to be human, to struggle, to forgive." Her admission opened new doors within them. "Yes," Oliver exclaimed, pumping his fist lightly. "And maybe we can also honor their struggles by finding joy in the everyday. Instead of carrying their burdens, let us lighten their load. Let us find our voice and express gratitude for their paths." Around the circle, they began to share what they admired about their parents, their strength, the way they loved fiercely, and the moments they chose resilience in hardship. Each story was a thread woven into the collective fabric of their hearts, binding them closer. As the moon rose higher, casting a silvery glow upon the water, a weight lifted. The air buzzed with the energy of their shared intentions. Elizabeth felt the warmth of their hopes envelop her like a gentle embrace. "Let us create a ritual to honor these stories," she suggested. "What if we wrote down our family's shadows and lights and placed them in the water, watching as they drift away?" A hush settled upon the gathering, and then Samuel exclaimed, "What about the flames? We can burn what we wish to release, and allow the smoke to carry it to the heavens." Naomi smiled through her tears, "And in its place, we can offer something new, perhaps small tokens of love we wish to infuse into our lineage moving forward. Our dreams, our hopes for brighter tomorrows." The radiant energy among them became palpable, each heartbeat echoing a collective pulse of renewed purpose. They gathered twigs and stones, each participant contributing their own unique voice. As they prepared to launch their offerings, they formed a circle around the water, hands raised in unity. "We send our prayers forth," Elizabeth declared, her voice steady and resonant. "We release our burdens, and we invite healing." The flames danced wildly, casting flickers of light into the night sky, while their stories melded with the crackling embers. It felt as if the elements themselves rejoiced, celebrating their commitment to transformation. "What God had not yet revealed," Oliver said, eyes reflecting the fiery glow, "is that this journey is not just for us. We are reshaping the stories that shaped us." And as their words infused the air, a mixture of tears, laughter, and release, something remarkable shifted. They felt the embrace of generations past, a lineage of love that wrapped tightly around each person. In that moment, they understood that the path of healing was about reconciling all parts of themselves, the darkness, the light, and everything in between. With the stars gazing down, the night held its breath, a sacred pause. They stood at the threshold of something grand, and yet the question lingered, inviting them to leap into the unknown. What revelations awaited them as they continued to honor their familial legacies, and how would their collective courage spark a transformation in lives yet to unfold? As the sun began to rise, painting the horizon in shades of pink and gold, the group still gathered around the remnants of their fire. It crackled softly, sending wisps of smoke swirling up into the dawn, like prayers rising toward heaven. Each face reflected the light breaking through the darkness, each heart a little lighter from their shared experience. Elizabeth took a deep breath, emboldened by the new day revealing itself. "Today is a gift," she spoke, her voice ringing with newfound clarity. "Let us not rush. Let us allow these revelations to unfold at their own pace." There was a hush among them, a sacred silence, as if the very air waited for the unfolding of divine moments. Samuel swiped a hand across his eyes, feeling the cool morning breeze. "I can still feel the weight lifting. It's as if the water took away what no longer served us," he said, conviction coloring his words. "But what about the things we need to carry forward? What legacies do we want to uphold?" Naomi stepped forward, her resolve radiating with each step. "We've seen our past, and we can choose what this means for our future," she said, her voice strong. I want to create a future where love is the foundation, not fear.
Maybe today we can write letters to our descendants.
We can share what we've learned, our hopes, so they one day bear the same pains.
Oliver's excitement was palpable.
Yes. Let's write letters, but also let us include our dreams.
What is the vision for our family? What do we see? What do we feel?
Their words sparked a flurry of creativity. They scattered across the grassy knoll, some perched on rocks, others sitting cross-legged in the lush green grass. Pens found paper as their thoughts flowed freely, heart to hand. This act became a testament to their growth, a keystone for what was to come. As they wrote, the air hummed with possibility.
Elizabeth noticed the way the sunlight glinted off the water, how it danced like shimmering stars reflected on the surface.
It struck her that the water was an eternal witness to their dreams, a flowing testament to their desires. Let us seal our letters with drops of water, she proposed suddenly, excitement bubbling in her chest. Let us let them drift into the future with the gentle push of the current.
The idea ignited a spark in all of them.
They took turns reading their letters aloud, each word charged with emotion. There was laughter entwined with tears, hope woven through their sentences. They spoke of love and forgiveness, of breaking generational chains of hurt, and they painted portraits of brighter tomorrows. No longer will we pass down shadows, Oliver declared, his voice firm.
We are free to forge a new path.
In the midst of their sharing, Samuel stopped, a contemplative look crossing his face.
What if our families hear us? What if there are spirits surrounding us, listening? What if they want to awaken with us?
A hush enveloped the circle as everyone paused to reflect on the weight of his words. Elizabeth felt a shiver run through her.
Could they truly be connected in this way?
The thought both thrilled and frightened her.
Naomi turned to look at the water. Then let us invite them to join us.
Let us break down the barriers of time and space, she whispered, practically awed. We can honor their struggles, and help guide them too.
Together, we rise.
With determined hearts, they lifted their letters and the drops of water, creating a symbol of unity between the past, present, and future. Each drop that fell was a testament to hope shared, love nurtured, and a brighter legacy. As the first rays of sunlight embraced their circle, illuminating their spirits, their souls resonated with a divine connection. They were part of something greater, an unfolding story crafted by both human hands and heavenly guidance. What God had not yet revealed, Elizabeth pondered aloud, her eyes shining with excitement, is that healing doesn't just end with us.
It echoes through time, transforming lives we may never meet.
Little did they know, the winds were shifting, and answers to their longing hearts hung just beyond the
horizon. What awaited them in the days ahead as they forged this sacred bond?
As the letters drifted softly onto the surface of the water, the group gathered closer, their hearts still echoing with the sentiments they had shared. Each letter whispered stories of love, pain, hope, and dreams, floating gently towards the depths, mingling with the essence of what had come before.
What if each word we wrote becomes a bridge? Naomi pondered aloud, her brow furrowed in deep thought.
What if our hopes reach back through time, not just forward? Elizabeth nodded slowly. It's as if we're creating a tapestry of spirits and stories, connecting our past with our future.
Who knows what lies ahead?
As if responding to their reflections, a sudden gust of wind swirled around them, rustling the grass and stirring ripples in the water. It felt like a breath of affirmation from the universe, an invitation to engage further with the unseen. Their eyes widened as they sensed a growing presence, a nurturing spirit surrounding their gathering. I can almost hear them, Samuel whispered, his voice barely above the rustling leaves.
What if they are encouraging us to dig deeper? To remember together?
Oliver, inspired by the moment, suggested, let us hold hands and create a circle, a shield of love. We should offer gratitude to those that came before us. Every struggle they faced brought us to this moment. The group formed a circle, palms touching as they joined in a collective breath. In unison, they closed their eyes, letting the sun warm their faces, each heart beating in rhythm with the pulse of the earth. A tranquil silence engulfed them, allowing profound connections to emerge with newfound resolve. Oliver began to speak softly, from the legacy of my ancestors, I acknowledge the pain they endured. I release any burden they passed down and choose to carry love forward.
Each member took turns extending their hearts through the silence. Naomi followed, voice trembling, "To my past, I honor your fears. I release the shackles of doubt and choose bravery, so future generations can know freedom." Samuel contributed, "I thank those who fought to protect our family. I embrace their strength, letting it fuel my courage to create paths of compassion." Elizabeth opened her heart, her voice a gentle flow, "I cherish every brave soul who has loved, even through pain. I choose forgiveness as my flame, lighting the way ahead." With each utterance, a subtle light began to weave through their joined hands, saturating the air with warmth. It was as if the essence of their voices traveled, soaring through the fabric of time, inviting their ancestors to partake in this healing together. Abruptly, a sound startled them, a soft rush of water, yet it wasn't the gentle churning of the river. There was clarity in the air. They opened their eyes to see the surface shimmering with an elegant glimmer, a reflection that danced and twisted before their eyes, revealing shapes and faces they didn't recognize. "Do you see that?" Naomi gasped, her expression a mix of awe and trepidation. "Those reflections, they feel so familiar." "I think it's them," Samuel breathed, now filled with reverence. "They've come to listen." The air felt electric, thick with possibility. As chills cascaded down their arms, they looked at one another, understanding dawning. This was not merely a moment of redemption. It was a divine intersection weaving their legacies together. Faith surged within them, breathing life into broken stories and soaring hopes. "Together, we can awaken the past and heal the future," Elizabeth whispered, realizing the weight of their connection not only to one another but to those they had loved and lost. Yet as they shared this sacred experience, a gentle ripple crossed the water again, casting a new image. Who could it be? What awaited them beyond these reflections? They were about to uncover something even deeper, but the winds of fate held the answers just beyond the edge of their understanding. As the shimmering water continued to dance, Elizabeth felt the air charged with an ancient energy, the shadows of the past intertwining with the present. They had called forth their ancestors, acknowledged their pain and love, and now it was as though the collective spirit of their lineage enveloped them in a warm embrace. The reflections pulsed in vibrant colors, revealing faces that resonated with knowing smiles and eyes glowing with understanding. "Can you hear them?" Samuel whispered, awe sparkling in his young eyes. The others strained to listen, and in that moment of unity, the breeze carried a soft melody, like a lullaby sung through centuries, a song of healing, connection, and redemption. "Each of us holds the power to weave these stories together," Elizabeth said, her voice steady, vibrating with divine purpose. "We are the bridge between what was and what can be. Their journey is our journey." The group nodded, feeling the truth in her words wrap around their hearts. Elizabeth took a deep breath, emboldened by the presence of their ancestors. "Let us summon their wisdom. Let us ask them what we can do to honor their sacrifices and transform our lives." In a sacred hush, they closed their eyes and pulled their intentions together, each heart a flickering flame of hope reaching into the unseen. "What do you want us to know?" Elizabeth called softly, her voice barely a whisper. And then, as if answering her call, the waters began to ripple fiercely, swirling into a spiral of light. Images emerged once more of laughter shared amidst adversity, of hands that worked together, and of hearts that loved fiercely, despite the odds. Suddenly, a figure took shape among the water's brilliance, an ethereal presence, a woman, regal and wise. Her hair flowed like a river, and her gaze pierced the very core of Elizabeth's soul. "You seek the truth of your legacy," she spoke, her voice resonating with the cadence of thunder and the gentleness of a soft breeze. "Your family's strength is forged in love, but it flourishes when entwined with understanding the hurt." Elizabeth's heart raced, sensing the deep significance of this encounter. "What must we do?" she asked, urgency lacing her words. "To heal is to remember, and to remember is to act," the woman replied, her hand gesturing toward the faces of their ancestors still shimmering in the current. "Gather their stories, celebrate their victories, grieve their losses with sincerity, and share each tale with those who come after you. Only then will the full spectrum of love thrive in your bloodline." Understanding washed over Elizabeth and her friends like a surge of divine energy flowing through their veins. They were to honor not just the victories born of struggle, but also the pain that shaped them. "Yes," Elizabeth whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks, "we will carry these stories forward.
The spiritual figure smiled radiantly, and with that smile, a cascade of light spilled around them, illuminating each of their faces. In acknowledging both your shadows and your light, you forge an unbreakable bond that transcends time, a legacy of love that will echo through generations. As the womaness figure began to meld back into the water, Elizabeth awoke from reverie, emboldened.
Let us commit to this journey together.
We will honor them and weave a healing tapestry that includes every story, whether joyous or tragic.
We will break the cycle of silence and fear, and plant seeds of love for the futures yet to come.
The group burst into an enthusiastic chorus of agreement. They felt the vines of hope wrapping tightly around their hearts as they realized the depth of their mission. Time slipped away as they crafted plans for sharing their discoveries with the village. They envisioned gatherings filled with storytelling, rituals of remembrance, and celebrations of unity. Their ancestors' tales would be passed down, giving life to every child who would grow to understand where they came from. As light began to break over the horizon, illuminating the forest in shades of golden promise, they felt lighter, having
shed burdens once unseen. Elizabeth clasped Samuel's hand, gratitude swelling within.
This journey brought us together for a purpose, she said, her voice filled with holy determination. In that beautiful dawning, they stepped onto the path that embraced their heritage and the love that held their future anchored in the strength of their past.
Look!
Samuel beamed, pointing toward the horizon, as rays of sunlight streamed through the trees.
A new day, a new beginning. Joy echoed in their spirits, as laughter spilled over their lips.
They had soared through the valley of shadows into radiant light. And in that moment, they understood that healing wasn't merely a destination. It was a committed journey of love, connection, remembrance, and action that would ripple through the ages. As they made their way back to the village, united as guardians of their lineage, Elizabeth felt a rush of excitement. This was the beginning of transformative stories, the manifestation of their shared faith. With hearts ablaze, they returned, ready to unleash their newfound wisdom, to nurture and uplift their community in love, revealing the power of embracing their roots. Now, dear friends, it is time for you to join this divine journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories.
Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support our mission.
Comment your reactions and testimonies about this powerful ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation.
This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second.
Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our channel through these actions.
Together, we can carry forward the legacy of love.